as I said at the end of the preceding video, if you hate to type, if you hate to type in any way, but especially numbers and especially long ACL lines, you're going to love using Cisco Configuration Professional for your ACLs. Now, you're waiting for the other shoe to drop and you're thinking, when's he going to tell us, what stinks about it? Well, nothing stinks about it per se, but I will say that there is one really tricky thing to look out for. I'm going to show you at the end of this video. I always say if you just look around for something, sooner or later you'll find it. This particular thing having to do with an ACL and an interface takes a lot of looking around the first time around, so I'm going to show you exactly where it is, so I will spare you that agony. Let's go ahead and jump right in, and let's click on Configure, and this does not look good at all. It's our first troubleshooting drill. I didn't think it was going to come that soon. If you hit Configure in CCP and you just see a lot of gray stuff, obviously that's not good because you can't click on any of it. What's going on or what isn't going on? Because here's my router, 10111, and it's a non-secure connection. It's okay for a little lab environment. Not discovered. Remember, just because you see the address down here, it doesn't mean you're going to be able to configure it with CCP until it's been discovered. And we got the discovery scheduled, and it shouldn't take long. Pardon me. And there's discovering. And there's discovering. Pretty soon I'll be doing the dreaded idle chit-chat to fill up the time. Really shouldn't take much longer, but I did want to show you that. That's definitely not idle chit-chat. And it looks like we've been discovered, and all is well. So now you can see everything is enabled. So again, just a quick reminder there. It's really easy to think, well, I see the address and community information, but what you've got to see over here is discovered in order to configure it. Now let's try under configure, under router, how about ACL? That sounds like a good place to start. We're going to start with the summary. And what you saw there very quickly was that router hasn't been discovered, but it went away, obviously, since the router had been discovered since I opened CCP. This is just exactly what it sounds like. It is strictly a summary. It's going to tell you how many ACLs you have set up. It's going to tell you how many NAT configs you have set up, IPsec, NAC, firewall rules, quality of service rules, unsupported roles. That's interesting, from running config not supported created outside Cisco's CP. Shame on you. Externally defined rules kind of sound like the same thing, except they are actually supported and created outside Cisco CP. And we've got some Cisco CP default rules, 11 of those. The only one we're even concerned with right now is definitely the access rules. So doesn't look like we can do much from here, right, as far as actually configuring it, because we don't even have any buttons up here. Let's go to Editor and try that, and this looks like somewhere where we could actually add some stuff, and that's exactly what we're going to do. You'll see what this looks like once we create a rule or two here. But first off, we're just going to add to get a rule started, and boy, look at this already. You just get to type stuff into the GUI. So what we're going to do, we'll stick with extended rule, and I'm going to go with a number here and just call it, actually, let's give it a name. Let's call it example. And I'll even type in a description. Type. And that's it. Now, for the rule entry, we're going to click Add to start with, and look at this. Everything, almost everything's a drop-down box, because we've got our select an action first, and we're going to do a deny here in a moment, but you can even put a description, on this particular line. And here, just for type, you're either picking a network, a host name or IP address, or any IP address, or any, which of course is any. So we've got network, and then host, and then any. So to start with, we'll just deny a host. And we'll pick on 172.111 again. And watch this, of course, because with extended, we've got to define our source and destination, even if either or both is going to be any. So we'll go with any here. And check this out. This is where you really have to really get stopped as far as having to type a long ACL line. Because if you choose TCP here, everything changes. And, you'll notice the service, and check these options out. You have equals, then not equals, greater than, less than, or range. So if you're looking at a lot of port numbers, you can put a range in there in one command. And if you don't quite remember what port number you want to put in here, just click this box with the 3 little dots on it. That's going to give you a list of services like you would see if you used iOS Help for that. So we're going to leave that alone, but I want to show you these particular options. And of course here for TCP, here is a match on established connections only. And then we've got log matches against this entry. That's going to be there for every option. UDP, same thing. Source port, rarely change, see help. I like that. Did it say that for TCP or did I miss that? Yeah, rarely change, see help. That's very true. And destination port, you define that as well. ICMP is going to be a little bit different, but check this out. It's got your entire list of ICMP packet types right there. Good stuff. We're going to stick with IP, but you can see already that it's very easy to configure this way. So we've got in our IP, we're just choosing that, and we're going to go ahead and log. And finally, we hit OK. And then your rule entry, your actual ACE, is going to apply here. So when we say add a rule, we're really saying add an access list. And here are your rule entry, a rule to the list. So there's our rule entry, and let's add another one. And we'll pick something a little bit different this time. We'll permit a particular address. Actually, let's deny a network. And notice as soon as I pick network, I got this wildcard mask field, and it's even reminding me about the zeros and ones. And then on top of that, I've got a drop down so I can choose one of the more popular wildcard masks. So if here I was going with 210.110 and a /24, what would I end up picking? Right, 000.255, because the zeros are the must matches and the ones are the I don't cares. Then you can match any destination, and let's say that we've got a network of IP servers on 211.110. That would be .0, and we'll just pick 255 again. We've got that, and we're going to log those again, and just click OK. And there's your entire line right there. So pretty cool stuff so far. Now let's do a clone. And I want to show you that you're not married to it because you can still change everything. But what that's going to do when you highlight a line and clone it, obviously it's just going to come up with those settings. So let's see, let's permit a line here. We need to put a permit in here. Let's clone this line and just say, okay, yeah, that's right. There was one host on that network we needed to allow. And what we'll do is just change this to a host name or IP address. And since we were working with the 210.110 network, we'll make this 210.115. And we're going to permit this particular host to get to that particular network. And that's it. Now, if I want to log, if I want to log my denies, then we know we can always put an explicit line there. If we want to just deny it, we're going to, actually, let's permit everything else. We're going to permit IP, that's fine. We're not going to log all the permits. And that's a permit any. And there you go. So, some of you have been yelling at the screen for the last minute or two about, well, wait a minute, that ACL is not going to work. Is there something wrong with this ACL? The only thing wrong with it is that if I want 210.115 to be permitted to send packets to this destination, I need to put this permit in front of this deny, because 210.115 would definitely match that source part of that particular ACE. So I need to change the order here, right? Because otherwise the 210.111 traffic, 210.115 traffic is going to be stopped by that second line. So I need to rearrange. So all I've got to do here, I don't even have to deal with sequence numbers. All I've got to do is highlight that and just click move up. And that's it. Now, isn't that cool? That is really fantastic. Love that feature. So we've created this extended rule. We've got our rule entries here. And let's say that we're happy with the way it is. Also, of course, you can move down. You can also delete lines, and you should get prompted. You will be prompted, Cisco CP warning, are you sure you want to delete the selected rule entry ACE? And you just say no. So we've done an add, we've done a clone. If you wanted to edit it, of course, the same thing comes up. The same information comes up as the line you had highlighted. So you can change it there as well. So again, let's say that you've got an ACL and you got one line, and you go to this line and you say, oh, I got the wrong destination network in there or something, or I want to take logging off. Well, all you do if you want to take logging off there is click Edit, bring that window back up, unclick Log, click OK, and you can see now that log is gone. So for editing and rearranging an ACL, you really cannot beat this. Let's go ahead and see about associating it with a given interface. And all you do, it's right here, click Associate, and it's going to give you a list of your up interfaces. Now, the only interface I have up on this router right now is FAST00, so that's the one we're going to use. And inbound, outbound, and I'll click inbound, and that's it. So now you click OK. And you worry for a second that you did something wrong. You get used to that part, but it does take a few seconds for the screen to come up. And your entire ACL is going to be right here in this window. And it's even got the application there at the end. And it's going to give you the option to save the run to the running config to the device's start config. And I'll go ahead and take that. And then just click Deliver. And that's not going to take too long, I think. Actually, it's the copy. See, the configuration's already been delivered. I know this is very small print, but then it says copying the running config to startup config of your router. Please wait. That's actually what took so long. Otherwise, it would have taken about 3 seconds to deliver that. And you're good. And now you see that your ACL that you just wrote, you see the name of it is example. And here's Fast Ethernet 00 inbound, shows you the interface, shows you what direction it's going in, shows you what type it is, shows you the description, and right down here, it's going to tell you exactly what the lines are and in what order. And if you wanted to edit that, then you just go right back to Edit, and it's going to let you edit any of the lines. It goes right back to the window we were just in. So just fantastic stuff there, really intuitive to work with. So now that we've done this sample, let's go ahead and delete this ACL. What happens if you try to delete it? Well, this is interesting because you get a warning immediately. It says, cannot delete this rule since it is being used by Fast Ethernet 00 inbound. Makes perfect sense, right? You don't want to delete an ACL that's actually still applied to an interface. To delete this rule, first remove its association with the interface. Okay, no problem. Well, I'll just go here and I'll click Edit. I don't know if I did a very good job of it there. There you go. And interface association is grayed out. How you like that? Well, right now I don't like it very much at all because I thought I would be able to come in here and just click associate and take it off. Didn't you think the same thing? Wouldn't that be the intuitive thing? Absolutely. But I go in here and I don't see anything like that. So without going to the router, how the heck can I disassociate the ACL from the interface? How can I do that in CCP? Well, I'm going to stop the video here because we're about at the 14.5-minute mark or coming up on that. I don't like the videos to be longer than that, so I'm going to stop here, and then when we pick up in the next video, I'm going to show you exactly where that is. And you got to know where this is, believe me, to disassociate it. So I'll show you in the next video. See you there.